All right, I'm in.
Okay, let me confirm on my end. Just one sec. It says live on the top on red.
Yeah.
Yes, you're live. Perfect. I will hang up now. You have a good session, Bernd.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Folks, little technical difficulty as we got started here, but we'll be up and running with the session here in about 1 minute. Video clips, demonstrations are for educational purposes only, and the videos are purely for purpose of demonstration, a method of using the product. Users understand that all the content used in the videos is purely for demonstration purposes only, is not a guide, and does not provide any indication of or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through the demonstration do not indicate in any way the results you may receive using the product. All right, so now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. It's about 10 a.m. here in Binh Hoa City, Dong Nai province of Vietnam, and I'm coming to you from the Pegasus Plaza here, as I do every Wednesday at 10 a.m. my time here in Vietnam. It's just after 3 a.m. in London, and it's Tuesday night at 10 p.m. on the U.S. East Coast. This is Nailing FX, Spot Forex Trading Simplified. I am streaming to you. My name is Opa Bert. And you can get a hold of me at fxopabert@gmail.com or opa@tradedictive.com. All right, let's take a look. Once you sign up for the free membership at www.tradewithufos.com/OPA. You can then consult the list of pre-planned sessions and add them to your calendar. And so you'll never miss a session, not only my sessions, but also the other sessions that are being produced by and streamed by our great team of instructors, not only Forex, but also options and futures and stocks. So don't miss out on anything that we have available to you. All right, so here is the complete December calendar. Today is, on my end, the 16th. You see here in the calendar, because it is based on East Coast New York time, it shows me here at on the 15th. So that's YouTube. Today we're streaming on YouTube. Next week, the 22nd, again, it'll be a YouTube stream. So make sure you follow all of the sessions that we have available. In today's session, the Nailing FX series, I'm going to look at quickly the stop loss that we hit on the November limit order for the Kiwi USD. Last week we talked about the stop loss that was hit on the Aussie, and we'll take a quick look and see where we stand on the Singapore dollar, US Singapore dollar. And then we'll get right into another review of the S.E.T approach. I got some comments that I ran through that very quickly last session, so I'm going to go ahead and try to slow it down a little bit and once again review the S.E.T approach that we're using. Of course, we're going to correlate with TradingView and the unfilled orders, those spaceships, the little spaceships, the UFOs that we see on the TradingView chart. And if we have some time, we will go ahead and see if we can hunt for some trades. All right, so here is the quick review of the orders. As I said, here's the Aussie. Down here we see the Aussie. We actually got stopped out on the Aussie. We had a Singapore dollar trade. You can see that here in the middle. This is the trade set up back what it looked like on the 26th last week. And you see on the New Zealand dollar, we got very, very close to getting in and then moving towards the, Singapore dollar is over here. We got in and getting closer to there. Also the NZD. So let's go ahead and take a look. Aussie dollar, again, last week we saw that we got stopped out of the Aussie dollar. Here's the New Zealand dollar, and you can see maybe last week some of you may have gotten stopped out if you took this trade. Remember, these trades were based on the 23rd of November, were based purely on the UFOs, the unfilled order areas. And so we did a comparison. We're doing a comparison of combining the UFOs with the other indicators that help us determine to take a trade. The focus on the 23rd was primarily the UFOs. And so now what I'm trying to show you is that you cannot focus on one particular thing and expect to get the results. You need to have a confluence of indicators. You need to have multiple reasons for taking the trade. And even if every reason that you can think of tells you to buy or sell, there's no guarantee that you are going to have a successful trade, because nothing is ever guaranteed in Forex trading. You have very, very high probabilities and expectations, but hey, there will be losses, and you accept those losses and move on. So here we see the NZD in this little cutout that I put in here yesterday, my time. You can see that we did in fact go up and hit the stop loss on the NZD as well. So Aussie and NZD stopped out on those trades. Here is the Singapore dollar. We entered into a buy zone. The stop is down below here, much further down. And we'll see. Maybe this will turn around, maybe it won't. We'll look at the actual chart. So with that, let's go ahead and quickly do a quick review of the S.E.T. Here are the parameters that I use to set up the S.E.T. And these parameters include not only the S.E.T. horizontal arrows, but also the diagonals that show when we had a profile crossover. And so the second view here in the center of your screen is the S.E.T. setup without the crossover arrow, but with the two moving averages, the blue and the red moving averages of the profile. And so you can see here was an indication of a crossover. Here you actually see the crossover, okay? And here is the S.E.T. setup with the channel, the 33 channel indicator. And so what I look for is on a purely higher time frame. The daily time frame is the high time frame that I use. We're looking for the channel dots to come in, and we're looking for the change in direction. Now, when that corresponds with a UFO, that's an additional indication. But we have to also look at the other information that we will see on TradingView. So here is, you can see here's a correlation that we see on this TradingView chart here. So here is, this was a USD, Euro USD chart of 1 hour back last week we looked at. Here was the setup, okay? Here's the setup, the parameters for setting up the 62, 65 profile and S.E.T. So the profile is these moving averages, and the S.E.T. values or indications are these, okay? And so when you get a blue S.E.T. arrow, and that S.E.T. arrow doesn't come from the far tail of the arrow, it comes from the center of the arrow. So you look down here, so right there you got that S.E.T. arrow. Now it's blue because if price goes above that level, closing above that level, then it's likely to move higher. However, at this point, that arrow becomes a stop if you are going to go short. Okay, so that's why the S.E.T. is stop, entry, and target. So it tells you a lot of information, but you can't use it alone. No indicator, nothing is good all by itself. It needs to be confirmed. So what you're seeing here is I have the two moving averages of my profile definitely showing a movement to the downside. Okay, so this is telling me the current trend is down. I'm getting a down short indication from the S.E.T. If I decide to go short, I will go short at the close of this period or better. Okay, better means a little bit higher. Sometimes it'll pull up. Okay, my stop would be just above this S.E.T. arrow, and if price continues to go up above that, close above it, then this level becomes an entry for the future. Okay, so you're getting good information. Now let's go ahead and look over at the trading view chart here. At this point in time, it's a little bit different here because switching back and forth. But you can see here, I was looking at, let's see if I can find, where's the crossover? Okay, a little bit later here. Here was the zone, the unfilled orders. These were sell unfilled orders, and price could have gone up to this area and then come down. We would go short. However, down below here we see the climate. You need to understand the climate as well on the trading view chart. And so the climate here says that price has just, with this heavy blue dot for this period, price has decided that it wants to go up, and it's likely to continue to go up for 6 to 7 more periods. So from this point, at the time that this screenshot was taken of the trading view, it's likely that for the next 6 to 7 hours, price would continue to move up. Okay, so we have to be aware that if I just say, oh, let me jump in, as we did on November 23rd, looking at these things, it just doesn't work. You need more than one indication, and as you can see here, there is no channel on here. So let's go ahead and move to some live charts. But before we do that, again, make sure that you understand that you have to do your own trade analysis. Okay, and so the links that you want to use for the Nailing FX sessions to get the history, to go back almost a year now, for the hourly training every Wednesday, you need to subscribe to www.tradewithufos.com/OPA, and you can go back and look at all the history. You can also do a Google search, Nailing FX OPA Bert, and you'll find descriptions of all the nailing videos. All right. So that's it for the presentation here. Let me close this and bring up. Okay, so what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at the trading view chart of the Euro US dollar 1 hour. Okay, the 1 hour here. And this data is provided by FXCM. Okay, you can select different data providers. And what it looks like here is that this is on the hourly time frame. We are still trading up. The profile, these profile lines are exactly the same as the ones on the MT4. And so we're still seeing that there is a tendency for this to want to go up. The unfilled sell orders are sitting up here in this area. Okay, if you can see that, I don't know how to make the cursor more visible. It's a big cursor on my screen, but I noticed that on your view, it might be a little smaller. So this is the unfilled sell orders, and down below here we can see we're stacked up, really stacked up on the unfilled buy orders. So there is a lot of movement there. So let's compare that with what we're looking at here, and I'll go to the euro. And so we can see that this is the same. Okay, here is the euro USD daily, okay, on this chart here. And notice that this alert came in, and we got a confirmation of that alert. This red circle with the white arrow showing pointing down is the confirmation of this alert. Remember that alerts don't tell you to trade. They're not a trigger. You have to wait for confirmation. Okay. Here we see that we had a channel dot, call it a channel dot, that tells you that there's a likelihood that price is going to change direction. Okay. Now, some people that are a little more aggressive will take a trade immediately when the alert comes in after or at the same time simultaneously with the channel dot. However, remember that the channel tells us three pieces of information. The channel tells us the overall trend, and we need to compare that overall trend with the current trend that's provided by the profile moving averages here. Okay, so this was still telling me that I have a higher likelihood that price is going to continue to go up. Okay, so being aggressive, I could take what would at this point be a counter trend move. So how far should I look? How many pips should I be targeting? Well, when you take a counter trend move, on a higher time frame, this is the daily time frame, your probability of getting 30 to 50 pips is your best bet. Okay, and so let's take a look real quick here. If you had taken the short right there, price came down and it went down to exactly 50 pips. So when I trade on a counter trend that is a dot followed by an alert, I will look to see again what is the trend both of the channel, and what is the trend of the current trend. So the channel trend is the overall trend, and the current trend is shown by the profile lines here. If I wait for the alert to be confirmed, again, I look at the channel and I see that I'm still in a upward trading bias. I see that even though the blue line did turn down, it was still above this magenta line here, or red line, depending on how you got it set up. And so the current trend and the overall trend still show upward bias. And so my thought would be, again, don't try to grab more than 30 to 50 pips. And you can see here, taking the trade at that level still would have gone close to 50. Let me do it again. From here down to here, well, it's 47 pips. So targeting 30 pips would be good. Now, some people will say, well, if I target 30 pips and my stop is 70 pips, that's not a good trade. Well, again, you have to decide on whether you trust the indicators and the probabilities, okay? Trust the indicators and the probabilities of taking a good trade. You know, it's one thing to say you have to get a 2-to-1 or 1-to-1 or 3-to-1 or before you'll even consider a trade. But again, that's discarding and not thinking about the probabilities. So if you're going to place a trade that you're going to say, well, this trade's going to give me, has to give me 2-to-1 before I'll take the trade, and you put your money on that trade, and the probability based on what? Based on your analysis, not my analysis, your analysis, is that the overall trend is up, the current trend is up. There's going to be a question of, how reliable is that going to be? But when you see that you have a very high probability based on your experience doing a lot of demo trading and seeing that, okay, this works 70, 80, 85% of the time, and you have that confidence, yeah, then you might go ahead and put on a upside down trade where your risk is higher than your potential return. It's up to you. You can do that, or you can just say, no, I'm going to wait until things are more in line with my trading plan that might say I will never take anything less than a 1-to-1 trade. If that is your trading plan, great, then that's what you follow, okay? So you have to have your own specific rules for trading, and then don't violate those rules unless you have a reason to change the rule. Don't say, well, today I'm going to do something different. I'm going to try this. All right, you can try things, but don't try it in a live account. Try it on a demo account. All right, so we're looking at this, and what I see here, again, going over to the trading view lineup here, I see that we got stack of unfilled buy orders down below here, and sitting way up here is the unfilled sell orders, and we're about in the middle of this place. Now when I look down here at the climate, the up climate started way back here, and it said that it's likely that the upward movement would continue for about 5 days, which it did, but then the upward movement continued, and right now, if I can get rid of there, the current upward movement has continued for 24 hours, or days. We're looking at a daily chart, okay? 24 days. For the last 24 days, prices continued to move higher, okay? So, you have to decide where you want to get in. Now, going back over to the MT4 chart, you can see here we got an S.E.T back here at about the same time that the auto climate indicator on the trading view chart started to show me big blue dots. So the big blue dot came in, and we got this red profile S.E.T. There's the S.E.T right there. And remember, what that means is at this point right here, at that high, the close of that day, we need to make a determination. Now we're in the middle of the channel. What is the overall, or what was the overall channel indication at that time? Well, it was most likely up. The overall channel was up. And what we'd be looking for is how close to the bands, the upper bands or lower bands, were we? Okay, and here is the indicator setup. We have our channel. Okay, we have the alert confirmation. The spread, you can see the spread up here. I'm using raw spreads on this with this particular brokerage, and so it's from 0 to 1 point. A point is a tenth of a pip. And I can see I have the S.E.T on here. So that all of the information is there. And so I got this, and how do I read this? First I look at the channel. Okay? I look at the channel, and the channel says, the overall channel says up. The current channel is up. So at that point, I can take a long position, okay, and anticipate that it's going to go up. So what I would be looking for is, at that point, what was my trading view perspective? What did trading view look like? So back here, okay, back here, so it was, let me try to line this up a little bit, right there. Right there, if you can see that on the trading view, right there is where the S.E.T arrow came in, okay? And that would have been in a buy zone, and the profile was up, and so we've got some good confirmation that price is likely to move higher. Okay, so that was a nice setup for that. So now let's go ahead and take a quick look at, again, here was the Aussie. Aussie, this was the stop. We see we got stopped out, and price went up, and now here we see we got an S.E.T telling us price would likely go up. So the S.E.Ts are opportunities for you to take trades in the area of the channel, kind of the big center area of a channel, rather than waiting for price to go up into the upper band of the channel or the lower band of the channel. So those are additional opportunities, but you still have to conform to the channel information. Okay, you still have to identify what is the channel doing. What's the channel doing? Is the overall trend up, or is it down, or is it flat? Okay, how do I read on that? Okay. So there was our Aussie stop out. Here was the NZD. You see here, this is a daily chart. This is today, 1, 2, 3 days ago. We definitely got stopped out. Okay, now we're looking at this indicator. The alert came in. NZD daily. Let's see if I can get the NZD daily. Whoops. All right, so here we go, NZDUSD. And what we see here, and let me go to daily. not, oh, we're on the daily. Okay, good, daily. And so what we see here is that we are in a buy zone and the sell zone is way up here. Okay, so again, we had a start of that move to the upside. You can see these arrows on the trading view chart are the same alert arrows. However, the alert arrows do not go away when a new alert arrow comes in on trading view. They stay there, so you can see the kind of the history on trading view where in the MT4, these arrows only stay after there's been a confirmation. Okay. So you can see again NZD stopped out. Let's take a quick look. Here we can see that if I asked you, now that you know what's going on, if I asked you to tell me what do you think we should be doing with the Singapore dollar here. Okay, let me move this over here. Here's the Singapore dollar. What should we be doing with the Singapore dollar? Is the long position a good position to be holding? And well, let's take a look at the channel trend. Channel trend is down, and it's a strong downtrend. What is the current trend from the profile? It is a strong trend to the downside. What here is this yellow line is actually where we placed the trade on the 23rd of November. Yeah, that's the 23rd of November. That's where we placed the trade, and the next day after the 23rd of November, remember we placed this trade purely based on focus, with a focus on the zones. And you can see that what we anticipated when we took that trade was that price would come down, take us in. So we did account for the fact that the overall trend, the trend was down, but because of the position on the chart, we anticipated that price would actually turn around and go back up. Okay, and it has not. So there's where we are right now. Okay, if you hang on just a second here.
Hello?
Yes, Lazada, please deliver to the reception desk. Pick reception. Reception, Pegasus Plaza. Reception. I will come down to reception.
I am now with it.
Okay. Go to reception desk. Yeah, leave package in lobby. Go lobby. Yeah, Pegasus lobby. I'm sorry about that. I have a delivery coming in from a local store here, so you can see that my Vietnamese is not up to par, but they understand lobby. All right, so here we go. This was the Singapore dollar. We're still short on the Singapore dollar. we will let this play out. I will let this play out, and we'll see if this keeps coming down and goes into the stop loss. Okay. My gut feel right now is that we are possibly in a strong buy situation where price may want to go up, but again here what we're seeing is that price in the climate is still showing strength to the downside. Everything says down, so why should we be looking at going long? All right, so let's go ahead now, and with this information, let's take a look at some charts. And I'm going to come away. We're going to go to the Euro USD here, and I'm going to go and let's look at let's look at the Euro pound. Okay, quickly go here, Euro pound, and I'm going to go ahead and expand this out. All right, so here's what we're looking at on the Euro pound. Let me go ahead and pull this together a little bit. So follow with me. The trend, what do we see at the trend? The trend is slightly down. We got a channel dot and an alert simultaneously, and with that we see that the overall channel is slightly down. However, at that point we can see that the current trend was up. Now that's something that you're going to get. You're always going to get a conflict between the current and the overall at that point. So you have to, again, depending on your risk tolerance, you have to say, okay, am I willing to do that? Am I willing to take the trade based on the dot and alert only, with the overall channel coming down? And so my target would have been 30 to 50 pips, and this actually went 100 pips or so. Okay. Now, had I waited for the confirmation, which came in the next day, there's your confirmation, there's a red circle with the white arrow, and gone in short at the close of that day at that price or better. So we definitely could have gotten in at that. And again, I would have had about 80 pips of room to take in that. So you can see that that would have been, in fact, a good trade on that. So let's go ahead and go to another one. Let's look at the pound yen. Okay. So what do I have here? What do I have? I have, again, I'm looking at a daily. I don't have a channel dot really to help me here. But I do have an overall channel going up, and had I taken that trade, again targeting 30 to 50, I had 90 pips of movement to the upside. That confirmation here, this is the confirmation, tells me that I can still, because price is pulled down, I might still be interested in taking this trade to the upside. Okay. Now, if I'm interested in taking this trade to the upside, why? Why? Because price is going to give me a better entry on the confirmation than the close of the confirmation period. So now I'm thinking, well, maybe I want to go ahead and take this trade to the upside. Looks like there's some upside possibility. What should I do? All right, so this is the pound yen. And what I'm going to do here is find the pound yen Forex. Come on, here. GBP JPY. Okay, this is coming from Saxo. Okay, so here's what I'm looking at on this. Okay, I am in a buy zone here. Now let's go ahead and bring this up here so we can get an idea of what we're looking at. So now I'm correlating, right? I'm correlating. And I see that I am in a buy zone, that price came down to this buy zone and just touched it down here, okay? And it moved up, and the sell zone is up above here, okay? So let's take a look. 140.15. Okay, 140.15 is right about there. So from there to there, where I am now, that's a 90 pip possibility. Okay, that's a 90 pip possibility. And if I enter now and put my stop down below here, I've got a 100 pip stop. Okay, so there's 100 pips to the stop. So when I'm looking at the climate has just changed. The climate has just changed from negative to basically it's a small blue dot, which indicates that there is some potential for it to move up. It has moved into the UFO zone to take a purchase. I'm going to go ahead and take this trade on this daily chart. I'm going to put my buy order, my limit buy is going to be at right into the UFO. So that's 138.898. So 138.90. Okay, 138.90. So let's go ahead over here and let's see, 138. Go ahead, buy limit. All right, 138. right, so there is my buy limit. And why am I buying? I'm buying because the trend is up. The overall trend is up. My current trend is showing up. I had an alert confirmed by a confirmation for the long position. And I'm going to modify this, modify that. And I want to put it at 138.90. Okay, there's 138.90. And I'm going to put my stop loss down below that. And so I'm just going to go ahead and tick this down so that I have that. And I'm going to take my profit and just throw that in, moving that up. And I'm going to adjust those on the chart. All right. So my stop loss is this one here. And I'm going to have about a 70 pip stop here. It's a little 69. Yeah, it's very difficult to get. All right, so we're going to put that there. And my target is going to be, where is the target? 140, 139. 140, right around there. All right, so there is my setup. So I have let's see, read that. I've got a 70 pip stop with a, you read that. I've got a 100 pip target. So not 2 to 1, but better, much better than a 1 to 1. We're waiting for this to come down to see if it'll come into the buy limit. That buy is at, come on, read me. 138.90. So let's go ahead and see where 138.90 is. Here, 130. 60, 70, 80, right around there. All right, so that's not what I want. All right, so I need to go ahead and do a horizontal ray. There we go. So 138. and that color is going to be blue because that's my entry. Okay. So I'm waiting for price to come down to the 138.90 level. Okay. And my stop is going to be here at 70 pips below. So that's the 138. Okay. 138.90, 138.10. 138.10. So my stop is going to be down in this area. And I'll color that one red. Now I can go in and put the exact, okay, and my target is the 140. Okay, 140. $105. All right, so my target is 105 pips. And it's going to be up here at that level. So up in this area right here, and I'm going to change that color to okay, we'll use that green. All right, so those are approximates that I put onto the chart. I can go in and put the actual numbers on this chart. So there is a trade that, again, on a daily chart, what am I doing? I'm anticipating that price is going to come down first, take me in, okay? My stop, I had already identified where I would normally put the stop, and that would be just below the confirmation right here, okay? So if I had gotten in up here, it would have been a much bigger stop loss. So there's the reason why I want to see price do a little bit of a pullback here. And price has done that kind of a pullback. Hopefully it won't pull back the way we did before. We are good in the overall trend. We are good in the current trend. We had an alert with a confirmation. So if I had gotten in at the top here and wanted to target 50 pips, okay, 50 pips would be slightly above my current target, right? 50 pips would have been above my current target. So I've made those adjustments to account for price to move back to the downside a little bit. And so let's go ahead and take a look at what it's doing on the hourly chart here. Okay. On the hourly chart, again, you can see that price, okay, on the hourly chart, price still has a tendency to go up, okay? The hourly chart has a dot with sell arrow, but still no confirmation. Looks like the confirmation would be coming in this hour, at the end of this hour, which is going to be in a couple of minutes. There we would have had a confirmation on the hourly chart, and that would be then the buy. So what we're looking at is coming down here a little deeper into the middle of the channel for the buy to take effect, and see if it'll continue to rise up. We still have a strong move to the upside on the upper band, the middle band, the center band of the channel is showing me strength to the upside. The lower band down here is starting to wane. It's starting to show a little bit less strength. So everything looks good in terms of seeing that setup. Let's see what it looks like on the hourly here. All right. Whoops. So, there are no zones. There are no zones that we are looking at on the hourly here. There's nothing to help us. Where are the zones? Where are the zones? We're looking at a buy way down here. Okay? And I don't know if we will ever see a sell here. All right. So the hourly is not telling me that I'm going to be coming into this buy zone, buy area. If it does come down there again, we'll be stopped out. But that's trading. That's the way it works. And my session is done for today. I will monitor this, and there you go. There you see that, as I said, the confirmation just came in for the sell. Okay, the confirmation just came in for the sell, but that is on an hourly. Okay, on the daily chart, we are still looking at a movement. We still want to see that movement come down a little bit more, and that may not happen today. It may take a couple of days. We'll see what happens. So that's it for today. Good trading. See you next week. We'll be streaming again on YouTube. Make sure that you sign up at www.tradewithufos.com/OPA. And when you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and follow. All right. Have a great week with trading, folks. See you next time.